Hare Krishna, I am Pastor Ivy. I am also a loving devotee of Lord Krishna. I want to discuss with you a couple of very, very huge topics within the Bhagavad Gita. The first one is the material conception of life. What does it mean to be in the material world? The second thing I want to address is what is a conditioned soul? What does it mean for one to be a conditioned soul? If you have not chanted yet today, let's go ahead and say the mantra together. If you have not yet learned how to say the mantra, or if you do not know how to chant, I will put a link to one of my videos in the description and you can go learn. It only takes a few minutes and it's for everyone. So grab your mala necklace or your bracelet. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Before making this video, I had to ask myself, if I never heard of Krishna ever, if I knew nothing about him, how would I want it explained to me? As a pastor, it is my job to help people create a loving personal relationship with God, with Krishna. 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 Krishna's name, it's attractive, it's charming. I don't know how many times I've said Krishna and I never get tired of it. Krishna consciousness is essentially Christ consciousness or God consciousness. This is not to be confused with a quote-unquote awakening, which is a very popular term right now. We are not asleep. We are conditioned souls. The majority of the world's population was not educated on how to connect with their spiritual self, the spiritual aspect of themselves. So now most of humanity, when they think of themselves, they view themselves as a body. When you view yourself as a body, you are attached to the material conception of life, as in, you identify yourself with your story. You identify yourself either by what has happened in the past or what could happen in the future. Krishna consciousness will show you what it really means to experience being in the moment, show you what it really means to be one with God. Krishna. How does one become Krishna conscious? That is a good question. I still don't understand. No, I'm kidding. I'm kind of kidding. The only way to become Krishna conscious is to create a personal loving relationship with Krishna and have him take you through it. Step one, though, is being willing to surrender to the process of purification. What does it mean to go through purification? It's not completely easy, but what's wonderful is that Krishna sits with you the whole time. It will be essentially a purge. It's worth it. There are two different types of transcendentalists, or people who are on a search for God. There are the personalist and the impersonalist. Currently, what has been popularized is an impersonal conception. Is there anything wrong with it? No. But you are missing a piece. With an impersonal relationship, people tend to stop at everything is one. People want to merge. They want to become one with Brahman, with the spirit. Why? Why would people want that? Because they haven't been taught anything else. We hear words like enlightenment, awakening, peace, inner peace. When we hear these things, we look at our life and we think, I've never experienced that. And then we set expectations for what it would be like. When will I reach enlightenment? When will I become liberated? How much spiritual practice does it take to become this? What do I have to do? What do I have to put in? What do I have to manifest or ask for There are lots of spiritual realizations that can come from the impersonal conception of Krishna. However, in the age of Kali Yuga, we have been gifted the Hare Krishna mantra. A little over 500 years ago, Lord Chaitanya spread the Hare Krishna mantra and brought it to us as an easy process of purification to become one, to remember our relationship with Krishna. A personalist is one who strives or has achieved the highest realization a human being can obtain. And that is the realization that they have a unconditional, never-ending, loving relationship with Krishna. The goal of human life is to remember that we are not our bodies. We are individual spirit souls. Very rapidly, many people have not noticed yet, but very rapidly, religious practice has declined in the Western world. What has become most popular, from what I understand, is New Ageism. New Age philosophy, New Age spirituality. I look back to when I first started studying New Age spirituality, when I first started looking into the connection between God and science, and I really dove into philosophy. I was searching, but I was searching for the wrong aspect of Krishna. I wanted to understand Krishna based on what I have already experienced in this life. I wanted to understand Krishna, God, when I've only ever really experienced, as far as I remember, the material world, my material conception of life. Because I have not gone through my life knowing and loving Krishna. Being spiritual but not religious is silly. Because what is a religion? A religion is a process that teaches one how to find their love for God. Right now, it seems like New Ageism prioritizes finding your higher self, finding your inner self. As in, you need to find yourself first and then you'll be shown the truth. You don't know the truth, we don't know the truth. The only one that knows our deepest, most inner truth is Krishna. How can we find it? Surrender and be willing to start incorporating a practice into your daily living. Is it hard? No. It is. It's not easy either. I would consider developing Krishna consciousness, developing your personal relationship with Krishna as effortless effort. When it comes to a spiritual practice, spending time with Krishna, chanting, you go from making yourself do it to just wanting to do it because you love it. When you are open to a whole new idea of what it means to find God, that is when you will start a real transformation. What is this transformation? Are you turning into a great mystic or psychic or no, actually. This transformation is remembering the original self, going back to your purest, most loving self, who you were before you were conditioned. We are individual spirit souls, and we're in our bodies thinking that we are this, but we're not. Spirit and matter are not separate, they are one thing. We are right here. The world is hard, and people want some kind of magical experience to relieve how hard it is. Maybe if something magical were to happen, maybe, just maybe, then life would be better. The truth is that as long as we are human beings, we are subject to material nature and we are subject to suffering. We are subject to pain. Why? Because we're not supposed to want to always be here. So why were we put here? Well, we do not know all of our lives, but Krishna does. And somewhere, somehow, we as individuals did something where we wanted to separate from Krishna. And Krishna loves us so much, he says, go ahead. Try it out. Do it by yourself. I'll be right here. The only way, generally, if people have not been taught a process to find their love for God and to maintain that connection, generally people will have to hit a rock bottom where they absolutely cannot take it anymore, and then they turn to God. We are put here to suffer. And then once we're done suffering and we surrender and we allow Krishna's love back into us, then we're here to enjoy. You cannot find Krishna consciousness through thinking about Krishna consciousness. You cannot understand God by asking questions, by creating philosophies, mental speculation. As your purification process goes on, slowly, layer by layer, Krishna will show you more and more and more. But this is earned, essentially. This is something that you and Krishna will develop with one another. Trust. And together, you will be able to determine how much you are advancing. Your relationship with Krishna will go from something like, a beautiful experience, to a way of life. Krishna consciousness is an art. You can design how you devote yourself to Krishna. Krishna just wants us to think of him. If you went to church growing up, you're taught that there are a lot of things you have to do to get in good with God. As a pastor, I would like to simplify this process and give a process that anyone could find time to do. One that's for everyone. There's a quote from chapter 11, text 55 in the purport. Krishna desires that one offers him either a leaf or a flower or fruit or a little water. By such an offering, he is satisfied. As in, Krishna will take whatever you give to him as long as you're thinking of him and as long as you're doing it with love. How do you get started with no spiritual master and no one to teach you? Well, actually, we've been given a very simple process. It is within the Bhagavad Gita, and because I love the Bhagavad Gita so much and I know people don't have time to read it, I am going to tell you. So for my next video, I'm going to be telling you the 9 processes of devotional engagement and what you can do to find your loving personal relationship with Krishna and ultimately yourself. I offer you these words, this video, with my sincere love and devotion. I'm so grateful that you've taken the time to watch this. And I am very excited for you. Hare Krishna.